Awesome. Welcome to another mat Pilates class with TriCore. Couple of things that we're going to use today. I've got a set of gliders. They've got two sides so you can use them on the carpet or on a harder floor like a tile or a wood. A lot of options you can use if you don't have these. You can use a hand towel, a washcloth, or just a pair of socks. You can even bring them onto your hands when we do the hand stuff. Those are good options if you've got a harder floor. If you're working on carpet, two great options. You can use some paper plates, and you can even use the top of like a Tupperware lid. So something that's just gonna glide across the surface, just gonna change our focus on the work a little bit today. So let's start. We're gonna put these off to the side. We're gonna start with a warm-up. One other thing I like to keep close is a towel. I like to use it for my knees when we're in kneeling position. So if I cue you to grab one of those, do it if you need it, but we're not using it for any work. So let's start taking it into a little bit of a dynamic hip flexor stretch. Again, I'm gonna keep my towel here for my knee. So let's take the left knee back, right foot forward. So you're in that split lunge position, nice and supported. Just a little bit of movement before we get into our work. Hinging forward and then releasing back. So really gentle, you want to feel that pull up through the left side of the body. If you're feeling good, maybe lift those arms as you reach. Pushing forward through your heel, not with that knee joint, and really thinking about keeping your hips square. We've got two more on this side. Bring it back. Last one, let's hold. With the arms up, let's reach back away from the left hip bone for 3. Reach 2, shoulders down, and 1. Bring it in, switch your knees out, and bring that left foot forward. Beautiful, hips are square, remember, right hip bone forward rather than opening up. Let's just start that gentle rock, forward and back. Big lift through the front of the leg. So we've got a lot of leg work in front of us to get started today. We'll move into a little upper body and core series as well. Working with those gliders, it all becomes a little bit more core focused, but that's why we're here for Pilates, right? Let's add that reach for 4. Bring it down. Go where it feels good. Anchor down through that front heel. 2. Open up. And 1. Hold. And let's tip it back, reaching away from the right hip bone, but keeping that right hip bone square to the wall in front of you. Last 2. Beautiful. And 1. Bring it down. We're going to take our elbows down just into a little forearm plank hold, scanning the body and adding a little bit of movement. Elbows down, step your feet back one at a time. Knees are always available to you. So find that hold. Reach through the heels. Lift the belly. Create length in the back body. Create strength through the front body. Like that lower part of your body is pushing that back to the ceiling. Push up into your elbows. Press into your palms. Lengthen the neck. And we're going to add a lift with the legs. Let's take the right leg up and down. Left and down. Lift and down. Belly and neck long. Lift and down. 2 more on each side. Just warming it up here. Last one, lift, hips nice and square, belly up and down. Take your knees down. Sit it back into your child's pose. Beautiful. I'm gonna turn to face you guys for this one. I'm gonna take it into our adductor rock, that stretch. So swing the right leg out after you find your tabletop. And again, that nice little hinge back. Pull forward. Warming up through your hips, feeling that nice big stretch in your inner thigh. 3. Last one. Bring it in. Right hand goes behind the head. Let's peel the chest open to the right. Big inhale, open up. Exhale, scoop it down. Deepening that inner thigh stretch, waking up the upper body. Inhale, open. Exhale. So good. Inhale, open. Last one. Beautiful. Hand comes down. Right knee comes underneath. Left leg swings out. Pause here. You still want the shoulders over the wrists. Right hip over the knee. And then we sit it back. Nice big stretch right up that inner thigh. Really gentle here. Starting that movement. We're going to build into all of our work today. Last one. Bring it up. Left hand behind the head. Peel the chest open to the left side of the room. Pause, almost like you're in a little modified side plank. Big inhale, open, exhale. Moving through the shoulders. Deepening that inner thigh stretch with the twist. And waking up those obliques. 2 more. Last one. Beautiful. Everything comes down. We're going to go back to our all fours position, starting to make this a little bit more work focused. So let's start. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Press up into your palms. Little spiral of the inside of your elbow so that the eye of the elbow is shining forward. So we're going to start with some balancing work, some glute work. Lift the right leg and just extend it behind you, rest your toes. We're going to walk the arms over to the left today, so a little bit of rotation. Right hand still underneath the right shoulder. Left hand is going to walk back until it's almost in line with your left knee. Pushing up through the palms, this did not make me sink into anything. Hips are still square to the floor. We're going to exhale, lift the right leg. Inhale, lower. We've got 8. 6. Lifting through the belly, extend, reach. 5. Glute nice and tight here. 6. Beautiful. Push up into those palms, 2. Last one. Hold it up. Steady through the core. We're going to take the leg back. Tap that back corner of the mat and bring it back through center. So nice and square. We don't unsquare that hip. We reach and back. 8 here. Tap and up. Push up into your palms. Engage through center. Tap. Back to the middle. Tap. You're halfway there. That little arc back. Squeeze through the inner thighs. Lift through the belly. 3. So good. 2. And 1. Bring it up. Knee comes down. Walk your hands back through center. Holding through the middle. We're going to keep working with that right leg balance. We extend the right leg out. Extend the left arm. Pause for a moment, find your balance, reach. Try to tap the opposite sides of the room. As you reach, you feel that belly lift. We'll take it into our crunch, knee to elbow. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lengthen. And lengthen. Reach, only 3 more, we're going for 6. Nice and long. Last one. And long, hands come down, knees walk wide. Nice big child's pose. Roll the shoulders down and back. Carefully crawling back up. Resetting through the center. We take that glute work to the left. Lift your left leg extended, just rest the toes on the mat. We set up the upper body. Left hand under the left shoulder. Right hand walks back, almost in line with that right knee. So we're rotated, we've got a little bit of oblique focus, but those hip bones are still square to the floor. We exhale, lift. Strong through the upper body. without tensing out the shoulders. Beautiful. You can look over that right shoulder. Neck is long. I got 2 more. Hold it up, pause. Stabilize that upper body. Don't start to sink, don't start to lose it. We tap behind and back through center. So if you're looking over that right shoulder, you should see your toes. That's 3, 4. Feeling that little extra squeeze in the obliques. 5. Awesome. 6. Tap 7. Last one, square that left hip. Beautiful, knee comes down. Hands walk around. It's not over yet. Lift the left leg, extend, right arm extends. Pause, reach, find your balance. Create space. 6 little crunches in front of you. Big inhale, exhale. Inhale, reach. Longer. Every time. Round that back without scrunching the shoulders to your ears. Start that crunch by tucking your tailbone. Reach, last 2. And out. Last 1. And out. Bring it down, child's pose. We got a nice little puppy soundtrack today. Everybody's having some morning barks. I understand. Okay. So now that our upper and lower bodies are all warm and happy, let's take it to those gliders. So remember, you grab whatever allows you to kind of slide and float across the floor. We're going to start with some lower body work. So let's take the glider right underneath our left toes. Feet are about hip width apart. Hip bones are nice and square. We're going to take this first one into a curtsy lunge. We've got 8 of everything. So leg is going to swing behind. And as you bend the front knee, we let that back leg slide behind us. Exhale to stand, lift the belly. Inhale, lower 2. Exhale, zip up through the inner thighs. So good. So it's not so much about how far back you go, it's about how much control you have on the way up. We're halfway there. Lift. Feel that pull. Last 3. Heavy through the heels. Glutes engage, inner thighs squeeze. 2. Last 1. Zip up, pull it up, and swing your leg back to hip width apart. Now remember, we don't need a heavy push into the glider. It's almost like you're floating. The reason we're using it is that it's going to give you a little bit more to resist on the way back. You can't so much lean into that hip flexor to push through the knee. You got to lift the belly to pull. Next round, we alternate our lateral lunge and our push back lunge. So we sit back with the right hip, lunge it, rise up, belly in, go back, rise up. So think about pushing into that standing heel, letting that left leg float. So good. You guys are doing awesome. Start with a small range of motion. Connect to that point where you've got to lift the belly. Pull back up if you go too far and pull with your hip flexors. Shorten up that range of motion. You want this to feel challenging but not painful. Last one of each. Lift and rise, and back. Pull it in. So good. We're still working the same leg. So feet are hip width apart again. It's time I want you to lift your left foot up so that you're on your toes, and your toes are kind of in line with your right heel. Beautiful. We're going to take it into this little kickstand squat for 8. So again, sit back. Right knee stays behind the toes. Squeeze the belly, rise up. Sit back. Everything connects. This is 3. Arms go wherever they best serve your balance. You've got 2. Sorry, that's 4. Sometimes I count up, sometimes I count down. 5, 6, squeeze through center, everything square. 8, we're gonna hold it. I want you to push that left leg back into a nice long lunge, square off through the hips. We're gonna take it into that little scooter. So we're pulling the back knee in, kick it out. Isolating your glutes. So they're not quite squeezing together, but they're lifting and working. We're going for 10. 4, last 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in, stand it up. You are done on that right leg. Shift that glider aside. Hello, Lucy. Bring your feet about hip width distance apart. Soften your knees, and let's take it into our roll down. Tuck the chin, scoop the belly. I always like to kind of walk my hands right down the front of the legs. And at the bottom, the hardest part of your roll down is letting your head go. Sway it over to the right, over to the left. The good news is you know exactly what's in front of you for that next side. I like to think about it as good news. Bring it back through center. Take a nice big inhale here. Really fill the lungs with air. Almost let it help you fold a little bit deeper. And then exhale, scoop the belly. Peel yourself up. Bone by bone, shoulders down and back. We've got the other side, 8 of everything. So we're gonna take the glider, resting it lightly under that right foot. Starting in your curtsy lunge. And it's static here, so let's set our angle first. Again, sweep the leg just slightly behind you, kind of thinking about that tabletop work we did earlier. We're gonna sink it back. Front knee behind the toes. Exhale, work to pull up, zip up. That's 1. Everything connects in the middle. Arms go wherever they serve your balance. Lighten up on those toes. Halfway there. So you'll notice the harder you try to push into that glider, even if you've got a nice slick surface, harder it is to move it. You want to feel that lightness, that lift, that float. Last 2. Everything comes back up, zip up. Last 1. Zip it up and pause. Square it off. We're gonna alternate with that lateral lunge and our press back lunge. So light on your toes. We'll push the glider out to the right just a bit, square off your hips. Remember, we sit back like there's an imaginary chair waiting for us in that lateral lunge. Down, resist it up, exhale. Inhale, lower. Resist it up, exhale. Those hip bones. ASIS bones shining forward. Zip it up, line straight back. Out, resist, back, resist. Make it strong. You've got to choose to make it about those large leg muscles and that pull up through the pelvic floor, through the low belly, and not so much about your hip flexors and groin pulling you harder. Looks really good. Pull it up and back. Last one of each. We take it out, zip it up, press it back, zip it up. So you've got that little kickstand squat. Letting your toes rest on the glider, pushing those toes back so they're just about in line with your left heel. Still squaring it forward, still isolating that low body by lifting the low belly. We sit it back, rise up. So we're used to having power through both heels. It's gonna bring a little bit more work into the quad by staying on those toes. Arms go wherever they work best for your balance. Maybe it's that counterbalance forward. You got 3. Rise up. 2. Rise up. Last one, hold. Let's push it back, find your nice deep lunge. We want that hinge forward. Long line, tailbone to crown. We bring it in, kick it back. You want to feel that scoop in the belly. We got 10. Activate that right glute. Last 5. So good. 4. Steady pace. 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in. Toss that glider aside. Roll it out. Let's give those legs and hips a little stretch. We're gonna go into a standing figure 4. You've got something to balance on, get closer to it. If you're home, do what works. Sit it back. Strong through the standing foot. Open through the right knee. Pause here. You can always hop on the floor. Do this one on your back. Just releasing a little bit to transition. Bring it down, shake it out, switch legs. Left ankle above the right knee. Arms are balancing you if you need to. You can even get close to a wall. And sit it back. Breathing here, relaxing the neck, relaxing the shoulders, heavy and strong through the right leg. Breathing into that left hip, left glute. 3, 2, 1. Let's bring it up. All right, so giving that lower body a little break. We're gonna take it into the upper body and lay down on our belly. So take your sliders with you, bringing them on either side of your mat. We're gonna lay down. And once you place your palms on those gliding discs, legs are long behind you. I'm just gonna scoot forward a little bit. Arms reach along almost to a little wide position, just so that those sliders are right outside of your mat. Just like with the hands, we're gonna keep our touch really light so that we've really gotta use the abdominals and the lats to rise up. We're gonna take it into a little bit of thoracic extension, just warming up through that upper back, through the shoulders. So anchor down through the tops of your feet, anchor down through your hip bones. Feel the belly lift away from the mat. Big inhale. On your exhale, peel up through the torso, let your hands just kind of slide. Inhale, lower down, tuck the ribs. Neck stays in line with the spine, so our body naturally wants to arc up and look up. Just want you to keep that straight line, like you're tucking your chin, but only a little bit. We're holding an orange, holding a grapefruit, making sure it doesn't drop, but also that it doesn't squish. Awesome, you got 3 more here. Feel the shoulders pull back. Feel that good squeeze in the mid-back. Feel the armpits hollow out. 2 more. Last one. Bring it down. So we're going to continue with that same lift. We're going to add some movement with the arms. So we're going to take it into what I like to call a snow angel. As we lift, we're going to open the arms wide. And as we lower, we circle them back down. So ribs down, nice and tight, shoulders down and back. Let's take it in. Exhale, lift and open. Inhale, lower. So we're always lifting to a point that feels like good work. But if you're feeling any negative tension in that mid-back, shorten your range of motion. I want you to feel that lift through the abdominals. And lower. 4 more, nice big squeeze. Beautiful work on that back extension. Lengthen through the toes, lift the belly. Light on those hands, that little float makes you work a little bit harder. Last one here. And hold the arms in that wide. You can relax the shoulders a little bit, roll them out. We're going to add a little bit of rotation here. So this time we're gonna lift up, just sliding the right arm back, looking over that right shoulder. You feel that little squeeze in the obliques. Take it down. We're gonna alternate sides, left and down. Feel that nice big squeeze. You wanna lift the belly, not just push with the arms. Good, little tuck in the chin as you look toward those fingertips that are sliding back. Last one on each side, squeeze. And squeeze. Bring it back. Let those discs stay there. Bring your thumbs right next to your armpits and push it back. Hips to heels. Child's pose. Maybe you walk your knees a little bit wider. So shoulders are tight. Start with bent elbows. Let your head come to the floor. And then lengthen the arms. Just feel that little progression in your stretch. And slowly come on up. Shoulders feeling real good here. Let's grab those sliders. We've got a little bit of plank work, starting to bring this into a more abdominal focused series. So let's set ourselves up. I'm gonna take my legs behind me, bring my elbows down onto the mat. And so, just showing you from this angle, you wanna tuck the toes under on the top of the gliders so that when you pop up into your plank, legs are long and you're able to move up. I'm gonna go this way so I can keep my elbows on the mat. We're just gonna start in a forearm plank hold. Elbows down, underneath your shoulders. Let's lift the knees and slide the legs back one at a time, press it up and hold. So almost like you're on the reformer, those legs feel like they're floating behind you. We're gonna take this into a wide mountain climber. So push up through the elbows, pull the belly in. Let's start on the right. We're gonna do 4 on the right, take a break, and then 4 on the left. So let's bring the knee wide. Slide, squeeze, and back. Let's stay right. Slide, squeeze, and back. 2 more. And back. Last one. And back. You're tired, but you're almost done. Left. Squeeze through the obliques. Don't let that butt pop up. 2 more. Last one. Bring it back. Knees down. Child's pose. We've got one more round of that. We'll hold our plank. 4 on one side, 4 on the other. Let's do it. Elbows down. So this is one that you can do on your knees. The knees don't quite slide the same way, but try it out. Sometimes if you've got your towels or your other things, not quite your proper sliders, it can work a little bit better. Elbows down. Show me your plank, guys. Press it out. Hold. Flex the feet. Lift the quads. Lift the kneecaps. Belly in. Every time you exhale, tighten up through center. We're going to go 4 on the right. In 3, 2, 1. Swing it around. And back. 2. Squeeze that side body. Butt stays down. 3, 4. And back. Left side. Squeeze. 3 and 4. Down and down. Those abdominals should be feeling real good right now. Take a second to roll your shoulders out. One more movement in this plank series before we sit it down, coming into a little bit more core work and easing our way back to the finish line. Lucy, you gonna help me out on this one? Okay, hands down, we're gonna go into our high plank. If wrists are an issue, top of your fists or right back to those elbows. This time we're going to take it into our pike. Big scoop up through the belly as those hips lift. I'll show you the movement and then I'll give you some modifications as well. Finding your plank first, you want to think about those toes being nice and light. We lift the hips, drop the top of the head through the hands, and unfold. So it's like a little crunch at the top of your plank. If that doesn't feel good, you're going to come off of those gliders. You're going to find your plank, lifting the hips up, high on your toes, scoop the belly, pull back using your core, down dog to plank. You can always take that pike into a knee tuck if it feels better on your back, but we're all going to meet wherever it feels good for us. 8 pikes to finish up this series. Find your option, find where you feel strong. Finish this set with me before we sit down. Let's go, 8 pikes, press it out. Hips high, 1, and back, steady pace. 2, so good. Halfway. You're strong. Just like that, 2 more. Last one. Bring it in, bring it down. Let's swing the legs around and have a seat. Take those sliders with you. All right. Long on your mat. Legs long in front of you. So you can sit it up. So we're nice and tall on our sit bones. If for any reason those hip flexors are tight, soften the knees, bring the soles of the feet together, but keep them long. Resting your fingertips lightly on each slider. It's going to take this into a forward fold. So inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale. Just let those hands float. And reach. Inhale, rise up. Just 4 of these. Really find that lift in the belly as you exhale and fold. Reaching long through the top of your head. Pull back. Those sliders help you get a little bit farther. Let's take this one down and hold for 3. Reach through the fingertips, space at your neck. Roll it up. So we've got just a teeny bit of seated core work to do before we take it into your final few stretches. So, sitting up tall on your sit bones. Crown of the head reaches high, shoulders over hips, ribs pull in, belly pulls in. Keeping those gliders at your sides, we're going to start on the right with a little bit of oblique work. Right fingertips rest on those sliders, left arm reaches up, left shoulder is down. So we're going to use that gliding motion to tip back. I like to keep my eyes on my right hand. And then on your exhale, squeeze through the right side body to sit up tall. Reach. Belly in, pull back. So just keep thinking about getting taller every time. So that light touch pulls you in. This one takes you halfway. Doing awesome. All the work is on the way up. Feel that lift. Reach. Pull back and lift the belly. And relax. Shoulders down and back. So remember, just like in that leg work, it's not about how far you go back. It's about finding that place where you're in control coming up. So practice. Left hand rests lightly on your disc. Right arm reaches up. So we take that little tip back and to the left, and then we squeeze to rise up through center. We're going for 8. Eyes on your left fingertips or your left shoulders. Exhale to come up. Soften your knees a little bit, especially if you feel like you're pulling into the quads and flexors. Remember, it's that little lift in the low belly and that squeeze in the side waist. Reach up tall. Right shoulder stays down. Armpits stay hollow. And that's halfway. 4 more. Zip it up, pull it up. 3. Light touch on those hands. 2. And 1. Reach. And relax. So bring both hands onto your sliders. We're just going to take a little fold forward. And as you rise up, circle the arms around a little wider. Let's do that for 4. Push forward. Circle around. 3. And 4. So good. All right. We've got one final little push here. Hands are both going to stay on those sliders. Legs reach long. We sit up super tall. So with your hands back, we're going to take a little hinge back, letting both arms slide out, and then zipping through the belly as you rise up. Soften through the knees, soften through the quads. Hinge back. Pull it through the belly. You've only got 8 here. Reach. Finding your spot. 3. Let those hands just slide. 4. Okay. 5. Tuck that chin just a teeny bit. Feel that little shake, it's okay. Last 7, sorry, last 2. Last 1. Pull it up. Circle it around, fold it forward. Slowly rolling up through center. Let's turn long ways on your mat. Walk your feet nice and wide. Hands just go right to the center of your legs. Let's try to flex your feet a little bit. Then reset, find those sit bones. Shoulders stack over your hips, over your wrists. Not over your wrists, shoulders stack over your hips. Hands in front. And we're just gonna start to slide forward. Exhale. Inhale, rise up. So notice that spot where you start to feel a deeper stretch. And every time we press forward, try to find that space or just something a little bit deeper. We reach, lengthen, float back, barely touching those discs. That light touch just guides you a little bit further forward. 2 more. Pressing your chest right down to the floor, aiming your belly button down on that nice big diagonal. Let's hold this last one. Let's bring my arms out a little bit here. Reaching toward those toes. 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in. Bring the soles of the feet together. Knees nice and wide. Now we're going to take it side to side just a little bit from that butterfly. So we'll start, again, aiming your belly button right toward your heels so that we're going down in that long diagonal rather than rolling around through the shoulders, and let the hands slide out in front of you. Plug the shoulders in. Find that space. And then we're going to slide both hands over to the right, feeling that little extra relief in your low back. Back of that right leg.
Inhale as we slide over to the left. Feeling that stretch through the right side. One more time, over to the right. Release that left shoulder away from the ear. Light touch over to the left. Reaching long. Coming back through center, grabbing your feet, tucking your forehead toward your toes, maybe using your elbows to press your knees wider, or sending your elbows down to the floor. 3, 2,
and 1. Roll it all the way up. You guys are all done. Awesome work. Remember, 2 new Pilates classes every week. They come up on YouTube on Wednesdays and Friday. Thanks for joining us again.